Shadowhunters Season 1, Episode 11. So right off the bat, this was actually a pretty good episode. And I thought it was a very standard episode. Nothing really too standoutish. There were some interesting things kind of revealed and some interesting things that kind of were a little bit disappointing for the most part, right? So right off the bat, what we got was pretty much the continuation as to when Clary and Jace kind of saw Jace's father, right? Michael Wayland, right? And I thought that was actually kind of handled fairly well for the most part up until like later on. Because I really did believe Jace's emotional state. I believe that he actually was happy to see his father. He seemed very emotionally distraught. And I believed it was a nice moment to kind of see, father and son kind of come together. And the moments that they kind of had with each other, like the fighting or whatever, those were actually kind of some nice moments for the most part. And I did think that the guy that plays Jace actually did a good job in some of the acting and emotional scenes for the most part. Now, granted, sometimes in this episode, it did seem like he kind of had I pissed my pants look, where he was just like... And I was just like, did you shit yourself or like piss on your pants? Because either way, it was just like a very weird face he was doing. Now, Clary, just in general, I thought she was actually fairly solid in this episode. And I did like the trick that she eventually did later on with the glamour. It's just that her acting in this episode particularly, I feel like, was worse than what it was last week. Sometimes it goes on and off, and she's sometimes all over the place. When she's like telling the demon, stop it, stand down, I was just like, oh, that's brutal. But yeah, a couple of other things that I really did enjoy was the Simon and Jace stuff, right? I mean, not Simon and Jace, Simon and Luke stuff, right? I did like their stuff because for some reason that kind of becomes one of the highlights where he's kind of teaching him, the downworld and stuff or whatever it may be with the vampires, trying to drink the blood from the meat. I thought that was actually fun, and they tend to be kind of some of the best parts of the show, particularly, and it did seem kind of like a buddy cop show, one's a vampire, one's a werewolf, and they're taking down criminals. But whatever it may be, I thought they work well together for the most part, and I thought that was actually fun to see once again. Raphael could get a little bit more screen time for the most part, but I guess he's fine enough in the role that he's actually supposed to be. Then we kind of get for Michael Wayland, right? The guy that plays Michael Wayland. He if you ever played the game L.A. Noire, he pretty much plays Roy Earl. And eventually he kind of turns out that he actually is Valentine. And I was like, oh no, I'm shocked. Because apparently, here's the thing. It just kind of seemed like something was a little off just to begin with. Like, why would the prisoner just be there in Valentine's place where we never seen the prisoner before? But that's just another story. And like, why wouldn't Luke know that Valentine, I don't know. A whole bunch of stuff could have been revealed there. But either way, I thought the guy that played Michael Wayland was actually a lot more better than the actual Valentine just in general. But my point is that the guy that plays Michael Wayland is always like a villain, pretty much. That's my thing. Now, it was revealed that Clary and Jace apparently are brother and sister, right? Valentine pretty says that. And then when I heard that, I was just like, that's just weird to me. I don't know if it happens in the books, maybe it does. But when I heard that, I was just like, that kind of seems a little off to me. And now we're getting a little bit of incest because, they kissed each other, they liked each other, and they got a little bit moist. So I'm just like, all right, that just kind of seems a little bit off to me just in general. But hey, I guess whatever floats their boat, right? Then we also get the trial of the century. Shadowhunters donned their version of, Ace Attorney at Law and suits. We get the trial of Izzy, and boy, is that shit lackluster. Because when it happens, it just happens and it falls completely flat. It's not really interesting, and then just kind of it feels rushed and ended. It's like 1 minute, Lydia, which still I feel like she's on the fence or whatever it may be. She seemed a little off to me. She just kind of changes her mind midpoint and be like, I'm dropping the charges. And then it just seemed like the big old happy moment. Yeah, everybody's dancing, everybody's happy. Magnus throwing up papers. It's like, what the fuck is this? And then obviously she's, still, they need to cover whatever it may be. But either way, that just fall completely flat. The green glow on top of Jocelyn, it didn't really work. It looked very cheap or whatever it may be. And also, just in general, I did like the final conversation between Malik and Magnus and Alec, right? Although they were actually a very good conversation. Not the pro bono work. I'll do pro bono. Funny, but, not that. The final conversation where he says he likes Lydia. It's just that he doesn't like how Alec is kind of carrying himself just in general. But, yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I thought there were some nice, interesting points to it. And it'd be interesting to see how the brother and sister kind of carries on, because now it seems like an awkward relationship. And it seems like they never really acknowledged it later on that they really were brother and sisters, and they didn't acknowledge that they actually did kiss and, probably do more. Who knows? But I guess that's how Shadowhunters roll. But, yes, that's my review. Comment, subscribe, and like. Help me get to 400 subscribers. I'm Chris Smith, and I'm signing out.